to my day. You know I'm the one responsible. I made it just this way to make myself some pictures, see what they might bring. I think I made it perfectly. I wouldn't change a thing. La la la. Welcome to my happiness. You know it makes me smile, and it pleases me to have you here for just a little while we open up some spaces and try to break some chains. And if the truth is told, they will never come again. La la la, la 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 la, la la la, la la la. Welcome to my evening, closing of the day. You know I could try a million times, never find a better way to tell you that I love you and all the songs I play, and to thank you for allowing me in the lovely day you made. La la la, la 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 la, la
Good morning, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the Swananoa Valley for our online service for Sunday, May 9th. My name is Spence Foscue, and I'm a member of the Board of Trustees. Unitarian Universalism is a welcoming religious tradition that accepts and supports all who come, wherever you are on life's journey. We have no creed. Instead, we covenant to treat one another well, support individual discovery and growth, and care for the earth and all who live upon it. Our only doctrine is love. We like to say, we do not have to think alike to love alike. We invite everyone to join us on our Zoom link after the service so we can get to know you better and renew old friendships. And now let the service begin.
Good morning. My name is Susan Enright Hicks, and I am the Director of Religious Education here at the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the Swananoa Valley. I'm delighted to greet you this morning, this Mother's Day morning. Mother's Day, of course, was a holiday conceived, at least in one of its earlier iterations, in part by one of our Unitarian foremothers, the poet Julia Ward Howe, who wrote the Mother's Day Proclamation as a call for mothers to come together and rise up and demand peace, which I think is a lovely bit of Unitarian history and a nice connection between the day and our faith and the work that we still have to do. In remembrance of Miss Julia Ward Howe and mothers everywhere and all others who work for peace, I would like to begin our morning with a chalice lighting by reading Selena Fox's With Love for Mothers and for Mothers. We kindle this flame with love for foremothers, past, present, and future. We kindle this flame in celebration of community and its generations. We kindle this flame with respect and support for the greater circle of life of which we are all a part. Welcome. It is a joy to be together.
So I want to say good morning to you on this lovely Mother's Day. And our opening hymn this morning is hymn number 6, Just as Long as I Have Breath. Hymn number 6. Our reading this morning is a Mother's Day proclamation. It's the reading in the back of the gray hymnal, number 573. Arise then, women of this day. Arise, all women who have hearts, whether your baptism be that of water or fears. Say firmly, we will not have great questions decided by irrelevant agencies. Our husbands shall not come to us reeking with carnage for caresses and applause. Our sons shall not be taken from us to unlearn all that we have been able to teach them of charity, of mercy, and patience. We women of one country will be too tender of those of another country to allow our sons to be trained to injure theirs. From the bosom of the devastated earth, a voice goes up with our own. It says, disarm, disarm. The sword of murder is not the balance of justice. Blood does not wipe out dishonor, nor violence indicate possession. As men have often forsaken the plow and the anvil at the summons of war, let women now leave all that may be left of home for a great and earnest day of counsel. Let them meet first as women to bewail and commemorate the dead. Let them solemnly take counsel with each other as the means whereby the great human family can live in peace. And each bearing after her own time the sacred empress, not of Caesar, but of God. This is the time in the service when we invite you to share a joy, a concern, a sorrow. And so now the floor is yours.
With Evan's new responsibilities as president of our board of trustees, I've offered to be the sole recipient of your joys and sorrows which you would like to have read or shown on Sundays. So please send them to me, Carolyn Shorkey, by noon on Thursday for the following Sunday. And my contact information is in the current. So look forward to hearing from you and send in those joys and concerns. We want to know what's going on with you. Okay, thanks.
We have several joys from Robert Tynes to share this morning, and I will read them. I have several joys to share this morning. First, Betty and I have a new granddaughter. Nora Catherine Tynes Miller was born on her due date, May 5th, at 11:35 p.m. She weighed in at 7 pounds 6 ounces and measured 19 inches long. Her parents, Robin and Scott Tynes Miller, are so proud and relieved and are now at home from the hospital in Charlotte enjoying their time off to be with Nora. Second, I received a good initial report on my bone marrow biopsy from my oncologist on Thursday. He said there was currently no sign of leukemia in my cells, in my blood. So after 3 rounds of chemo with Viexos, I am in remission once again and scheduled to start a maintenance chemo tablet early this coming week, which I'll be able to take at home and which should make things much easier. I'm also feeling better and healing from 2 compression fractures I developed as a result of steroid-induced osteoporosis. Third, I am so grateful for my wife, Betty Bates, who has not only done such an excellent job taking care of me for more than 6 months now, while I've been going through chemo treatment for acute myeloid leukemia, but she has been an excellent mother to our 2 daughters, who are incredibly now both very woke mothers themselves. Happy Mother's Day to all 3 of them. And finally, I want to thank Michael Carter, Larry Perlman, and the Congregational Care Committee, as well as the many members of this wonderful congregation, friends, relatives, and community members who have been so supportive in sending positive energy to me during this difficult time. It is truly appreciated. Thank you all very much.
Hi, I'm Carolyn Shorkey, and I would like to wish my mom a happy Mother's Day. She's been a mom for 69 years, and if that isn't a big enough feat, she also reigns as the champion of family Scrabble.
I had one more concern emailed in today from Jackie Franklin. She says that while hiking on Friday in Pisgah Forest, she fell and fractured her shoulder. It's pretty painful, but fortunately it looks like a clean break that will not require surgery. She would appreciate any thoughts and prayers, and watch out for roots on the trail.
We thank you for sharing. For those of you who, for whatever reason, decided not to share a joy or concern, know that we keep you in our hearts and in our minds.
Our meditation prayer this morning is Prayer for the Morning by Audette Fulbright Fulson. Did you rise this morning, broken and hungover, with weariness and pain, and rage tattered from waving too long in a brutal wind? Get up, child. Pull your bones upright. Gather your skin and muscle into a patch of sun. Draw breath deep into your lungs. You will need it. For another day calls to you. I know you ache. I know you wish the work were done, and you and everyone you have ever loved were on a distant shore, safe and unafraid. But remember this, tired as you are not alone. Here and here and here also, there are others weeping and rising and gathering their courage. You belong to them, and they to you. And together we will break through and bend the arc of justice all the way down into our lives. May it be so.
This is the time in the service where we will collect this morning's offering. Our true wealth, the Prophet Muhammad tells us, is the good that we do in this world. And none of us has faith unless we desire for our neighbors what we desire for ourselves. And so, with that in mind, we now collect this morning's offering.
grew in the kitchen window and bloomed bright orange on the wall. You sat in the morning light holding a guitar as the first summer rain began to fall. Like the gentle raindrops, your words fell in my ear, making things so clear as we quietly sat there. It reminded me of other times you had come before and brought a song or just walked in through my kitchen door. Now it seems the truest words I ever heard from you were said at kitchen tables we have known. 'Cause somehow in that warm room with coffee on the stove, our hearts were really most at home. Sitting at a table, looking hard at you, catching up on stories of the things we tried to do. But it seems we really said the most when we didn't talk at all. But let the song speak for us like the sunlight on the wall. Now as we come and go in sunshine and in rain, some years are seen more clearly than the rest. And if it weren't for kitchen songs and mornings spent with friends, we all would lose the things we love the best. I can see you sitting there beneath the trumpet vine, the sunlight through the window in the kitchen of my mind. You came when you were needed. I could not ask for more than to turn and see you walk in through my kitchen door. You came when you were needed. I could not ask for more than to turn and see you walk in through my kitchen door.
When the Buddha began his ministry, he would travel around India and he began to teach. And shortly after his enlightenment experience, he encountered several people who questioned him about who he was. Now, no doubt they recognized in his countenance that this was a special soul, a powerful soul. So people recognized him as this special individual. And so they asked him, "Sir, are you a god?" "No," he replied. "Are you a prophet or a holy man?" Again, the Buddha answered, "No." "Well, then are you some sort of celestial being?" "No." "Well, sir, then please tell us, what are you?" The Buddha answered, "I am awake. I am awake." And of course, in today's contemporary jargon that began in the African American community, to be woke, to stay woke, refers to being aware and conscious regarding issues of social and racial justice. It means being aware of the truth behind things that folk in power simply don't want you to know. Of course, it can also mean, and we've seen this, and maybe even experienced it, it means being pretentious about how much you really care about social justice or an issue. But being woke can at times, for certain people, be an ego trip. Either way, to be woke nowadays is something that many folks strive to be, and apparently, if you're not careful, one can go back to sleep, as it were. For the idea is to stay awake. There's nothing wrong at all with that, to stay awake. So I want to look at this in another context this morning. It doesn't mean get rid of what I've just said, but I want to look at this in another context. It is common, or it is a common truth, expressed many times, that the key to the meaning of life, as the individual discovers that meaning, is within. All of life's meaning is not found within, however, but a substantial part of it is. So what I am saying is that it is very necessary for us to be vigilant in protecting our inner life, because our attitudes and beliefs, our perspectives on the meaning and significance of life can recede into the background as we proceed into the future. One must always remember that there must be a basic harmony between one's personal conduct and the ideals which one recognizes as most valuable to oneself. When my personal conduct fails to exemplify my own sense of the highest good, the meaning of life tends to disappear. This idea is aptly illustrated in Shakespeare's Macbeth. Now, as you may recall, Macbeth believed himself to be a man of destiny. He told this to his wife, and together they swam across Scotland in a sea of blood until Macbeth was king and his wife became the first lady. Their friends began vanishing and their enemies multiplied. Macbeth aged rapidly, and Lady Macbeth became much more frail mentally. You see, because the blood that she was trying to wash away was in her mind. The blood she tried to wash away was in her mind, and then she died. An attendant comes to give Macbeth the tragic news of her death. Perhaps you recall his reply. She should have died hereafter. There would have been time for such a word. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then he's heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. It's quite a speech. Why was life viewed this way by Macbeth? A tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing? Is this all life is? This is heavy stuff here. Why the bitterness? Because in his private life, he had violated his best ethical judgment. Is life to you? Is life to you or someone you know a grinning skull and crossbones? Is there nothing sacred, nothing to be viewed with awe and wonder? Because if this is so, it's because many people insist upon trying to separate their personal conduct from their world of values. Another attitude that may keep one from staying awake is the attitude that I've seen it all. I'm so intelligent, you can't fool me. I've been there, I've done that. Nothing impresses me. I've been almost everywhere and seen almost everything, and so I have no illusions. This attitude keeps an individual from learning very much, from the ordinary, from the commonplace, if you will, from the mundane experiences of everyday life. Oscar Wilde is quoted as saying, "There's always room in an unlettered mind, in an unlettered man's mind, for a great idea." Always room. Shunryu Suzuki puts it this way in his book on Zen Buddhism. He says, in the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In the expert's mind, there are few. A much cruder way of putting it is this: one can be an educated fool. Howard Thurman tells the story of a prayer service at a state college that he attended. He noticed an elderly, bald-headed, differently abled man who sat in the front pew in the chapel, and he walked in on 2 crutches. At the end of the service, he approached Dr. Thurman, and he offered to bring him a gift for the inspiration he felt during the service, and he wanted to show Dr. Thurman his appreciation. So he told Thurman that he would call on him in his room at 11 p.m. that evening. Thurman says he made inquiries about the man. He got his name and other particulars. He discovered that the man made his living by mending shoes at the college. And so at 11 p.m., he knocks at the door. He placed his crutches on the floor and he helped himself up by leaning on a chair. He asked Dr. Thurman, "Do you like Shakespeare?" "Yes," replied Sir Thurman. "Well, what's your favorite play?" "Hamlet," was the reply. Thurman said he listened in utter amazement as this man from memory recited the entire first act of Hamlet. And then he recited other scenes from other Shakespearean tragedies off the top of his head. Just an old man on crutches, earning a living by mending shoes for others, many of whom had probably never even taken the time to really see or to listen to this man. And so the lesson is that magic is all around us, but to one who sees and knows it all, there is little meaning in the commonplace of life. Another way of putting it is that there is music everywhere if we had ears to hear it. So if life is boring to you, if life is growing dusty on your sleeve, stay woke. Or if you are getting bored by the mundane, the lack of drama in your life, first of all, be grateful for the lack of drama, and then stay woke. Lastly, it is good and helpful to at least attempt to dedicate oneself to some worthy cause, some purpose, some movement that is larger than our little lives. It is easy to feel insignificant in the vastness, if you will, of this multiverse. We have moved past the old theology that places the earth as the center of this universe, thereby making human beings the center of everything. We've long since gone past that. That train has left the station. Astronomy reminds us that this earth is a tiny speck of dust whirling through space. We live in the southern part of the eastern half of that tiny speck of rock. We live in one country in the southern part of the eastern half of this tiny speck of rock. We live in one city, in one country, in the southern part of the eastern half of that tiny speck of rock. And so the net result is that we are oppressed by the littleness of our lives, and the meaning that we do find in life is often comparable to our interpretation of our individual significance in the vastness of space. It appears to me that perhaps it would assist us. It is our obligation to find something in our world, some cause, some purpose, some movement to which we may give ourselves in utter devotion. This may be the key to happiness, but I don't know. It's different for all of us. What I do know is that if you would know the meaning of life, and you intend to keep that meaning fresh and vital, simply look around you. That's all, just look around you. Select some cause, some great purpose. Identify yourself with some overwhelming need. Give yourself to it with complete devotion. Something that stirs you to your very depths. Something more important to you than life or death. Some would label this your life's mission or your life's calling. Call it what you will. But if life has no meaning for you, it may be because you are at war with your ideals. It may be because your ego keeps you from seeing the truth and beauty in the mundane and the everyday. It may be because you have yet to identify yourself with something transcendent. And so from hour to hour, from day to day, stay woke.
This is hymn number 122, Sound Over All Waters.
Our closing words this morning, again on this Mother's Day. The mystery is that we are connected even when we feel far apart. Let us rejoice in the common life that makes the many one, and let us trust that each new day will bring strength and courage, wisdom, and renewal. Happy Mother's Day. Have a wonderful Sunday afternoon.
Love is an ocean, it surrounds you and me. Just close your eyes and float on the sea. A river that flows from your heart to mine and over the whole world past the end of time. Love is the sunshine giving life to the earth, lighting our way from the day of our